Okay, so welcome everyone one more time. The semifinals for winner takes all start now. We're gonna be casting with Lemon as usual. What, $100 is up for grabs to the winner of the entire thing. And for you, extra Gwent content, competitive Gwent content. We had 4 nice matches yesterday, some high rolls, some low rolls, some beautiful outplay happened, but more of that today. Probably less memers today, as all the piles kinda crashed and burned down for one reason or another, but some of the memes came pretty close to winning, maybe missing like one card or having your opponent one extra card. So we start with Kazuya versus Daurian, and then Sintrian versus Energix follows. And I think match is about to start in like 4 or 5 minutes, so we have to jump into the decks. But yeah, nice. Hope you got your sleep yesterday and ready to go for another 3 matches today. Yep. Somehow I feel like I didn't really sleep, but well, I kinda did. So we'll see.
Hopefully it's enough
to
get through these invigorating Gwent.
Yeah, invigorating Gwent. Kinda lost yesterday, although the hand buff wasn't exactly invigorate. So okay, I brought the Kazuya decks onto the screen, and it starts with well, Self Wound as usual. Was banned yesterday. I don't think we've seen much of Self Wound yesterday, maybe one game. But yeah, this is the Portal version that I don't think we've seen in action in general.
Yeah, it's a lot more standard, I think, to just take the Neomancy, but if you're able to draw your cards, then the Portal version has a bit more oomph and a nicer ability to contest round 1 if you are able to play out that Portal and find it early.
Yeah, and there is Mata as well, so you kind of have your cards that can help you with the consistency. Does it work? Well, quite often we see cards like Oneromancy being stuck at the bottom, so might as well try your luck with Mata, drawing Mata and Portal instead. But yeah, this is a main staple of Skellige for months and months, unless we're talking devotion tournaments when warriors prevail. Yeah, Self Wound has been there. The second list is the Siege, with I think 3 or 4 players brought Siege NR yesterday, so some of them progressed into day 2, and this is a version that doesn't rely on mutant generator extra carryover. This is just a compact Siege list with Temple and Demavent for those extra spicy plays. Baron getting to 9 provisions is a nice additional like toll punish control of the boosted units alongside Prince and Says that is actually in the deck.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was it Energix's list that wasn't running? Or was it Yaru? I can't remember.
It's Daurian's deck that is not running, so we'll see that in action today.
Yeah, yes, that's the mutual one. So yeah, actually running the Unsay, so you're always going to have that big dual target to tutor from your temple right into your hand. And yeah, solid smattering of these bronze engines and a nice little soldier package with the Revenants combined with that run of it.
So next up is Imposter Status Nilfgaard, probably the most popular deck of this winner takes all tournament. A lot of players brought it. Also, welcome Raiders from Lerios stream. Thanks. Hope your short stream went well. Hope your Seamless didn't let you down. Hey, your tilt.
You got a sea-based.
And the last deck, we've seen a brilliant match of Imposter Status Mirror yesterday. Hopefully it entertains us today as well. But the last deck is Lined Pockets with Savola being the newest addition to the deck.
Yeah, and we saw yesterday the Swallow did a very good job at defending the bleed, providing a lot of points after playing pretty uninteractive for most of that round 2. and it put Kazuya off to a very nice start in their quarterfinal.
Okay, so this is the Kazuya decks, and now switching to Daurian's Siege again, Muta Generator. No one says who needs that. Rivian Pikemans is like the new edition of the Siege decks occasionally being run. Help you with lowering and restarting your machines. This is a devotion list, once again quite compact because there are only so many machines you have in the game, and only so many of them are bronzes, and you have only limited amount of provisions. We got the invites, so Earth and Ritual, the Oniromancy version, and Imposter Ball are in Dauran's lineup as well. And he brought the old reliable Dead Wish Monsters list that he was playing past season tournaments as well.
Yeah. So yeah, the Overwhelming Hunger Monsters was banned yesterday in the quarterfinal, but it looks like it will be going through here in the semis. Darren will get a chance to play with that monsters. Instead, it's going to be the Self-Wound band on the side of Kazuya, and the Aristocrat Ball band on the side of Darren. So, still a bit of Self-Wound and Aristocrats in the mix, but they are the two lists that are getting banned. Whereas,
so
both players brought both Self-Wound and Aristocrats, so
no mirror for us. I see.
Yeah.
A YouTube stream should be up and running for like the deck review segment as well. So yeah, thank you for the reminder, Metal.
So it's gonna be Kazuya starting us off on blue coin here. Wouldn't be surprised to see Northern Realms from them, and perhaps a Self-Wound on the red coin for Darren. But it's gonna be Syndicate to start us off with Kazuya here. Gonna see how they're able to navigate the scary threats that Self-Wound puts out, especially for a devotion list where you're lacking that get out of jail free card in the heat wave. But at least you have the morals, you have the horse and junior steel with something like the Knut, and you have that bounty package with the Witch Hunt Executioners that can put a bit of pressure on maybe the bronze engines like the Priest or the Drakars if you have enough coins to deal with them.
Okay, I have to deal with the small problem of the client not showing the coins. Of course it's Syndicate when there are no coins.
Yeah. We should just ban players from queuing Syndicate Game 1. It would make the spectating a whole lot easier. But it's straight away, it's going to be Open Sesame from Kazuya into the Squirrel answer for Darren, so does get the first trigger on the Open Sesame, but not going to get any of that counter value later on in the game. Sea Jackal rolled on the Eventide Plunder now. It's always good to have a spender on board, it makes your life a little less difficult. But the issue is it goes super toll, and when the opponent has access to the Heatwave in hand, Spores and Neomancy both sitting in deck, as we see from the Maxi here, so not worried about that resetting the Sea Jackal, and not the best pulls here from the Maxi next round, only finding the Sigrifa's Rai.
Your magic can't hurt
Wouldn't be
me.
in the next
No
round,
magic
wouldn't be
can.
surprised to see a shuffle.
Yeah, should be a shuffle most likely, unless you are certain that you're allowed to do whatever you want in terms of round control. Okay, so we see the Jackal being clicked more and more, playing into that spicy heat wave, but the question is how deep Dauren is going. So far it's anti-carryover card, carryover in terms of draws that he played, didn't really play any real cards. And yeah, there is also a problem of like missing the combo pieces. You'd want that Priest or Corsair to combine it with the ship. But considering the Sea Jackal is at 19, well, if you feel like it, your contest is pretty simple in this round. You just jump the heat wave and you're quite close again.
But then the issue is playing past the heat wave is rough because the 2 bronzes in hand, the Dwim and the Pillar, they're not really doing anything in this board state, just playing for a measly 3 and 4 points each. And then after that you're looking at committing some of your bigger gold combo pieces, which you really don't want to do this early on. But then again, on the side of Kazuya, hand here is a bit awkward. Flying Redanian is bricked, which I don't think we mentioned yet. And this Oxenfurt guard doesn't have a pocket to start boosting yet, but it is the pass from Darren. So I think the interesting thing to note here, in this sort of matchup, the executioners can struggle to actually find targets to damage because Selfwood has a lot of things which just don't take damage. Things like the Olgate, things like the Sigvald. And we already saw 2 Eventide Plunders being played, so in terms of having a spender, which is more of a defensive boosty spender, it's really going to come down to these 2 copies of the Oxenfurt guards.
Okay, that's Novigrad found. What's the coin situation at the moment after the Novigrad?
Currently 4 coins in the bank.
Okay, thank you. Lemon is missing again. Yeah, okay. The capture method change didn't really help, and apparently nothing helps. Lemon just is in the hiding. Ah, I see. Okay, nothing really helps. Bam. This should. Yeah, there we go. We have the permanent Lemon.
Yes. Good to be back.
So, location has been played, but location was also Novigrad location, I mean, has been clicked as well. So, we are going deeper into this round 2. Pulling the strings when you are not really running many tags is not helpful, so we see the mutagen dealing with one of the fanatics. But yeah. Like we talked about Portal and Aeromancy, here we do see an Aeromancy being somewhere in the deck, but Daurin kind of found a few golds already, so shouldn't be the biggest problem to find lines to play out this round too.
Especially with the Spellblood together with the Totem. You have the Draco Turtle K-Trolled combo, which we see coming out here, dealing with that Bare-Knuckle Brawler. And there's even the Doom Viandra in hand, which you can use to reset the K-Trolled order for later on. And notably, with no artifact removal being a Devotion Syndicate list, there's no real way to deal with this K-Trolled Draco Turtle coming down here. And it's already, quite a big lead for Darren to catch up here for Kazuya. Going to be King of Beggars already coming out. And the Savola points them. Getting a sizable lead now, 14 points up for the Syndicate.
Yeah, King of Beggars is happy to see Savola. This allows him to feature so much more on the board because he gets 9 coins paid immediately. So any smaller tribute paid earlier will be leading to the counter 12 fulfilling.
Traveling is an option, you see.
Okay, so we see the Gwentfinity playing slow, but this gear troll, the reset is good to have. There is Morels, so your Draco Turtle growing means not much for it, but this is like the last toe punish that is left in Kazuya's hand.
Yeah, pretty nice roll getting the Purge there. Puts a bounty onto the Draco Turtle, which makes that Morels a bit of a juicier play that you might want to consider now. You get a nice 6-coin refund after going for the tribute, which is particularly good since, the King of Beggars isn't giving any more refunds now since it's already been summoned. Foulblood coming down. Gonna turn the tides. The armor on Savola absorbs a little bit of damage, but the rest of Kazuya's board state is very much worse for wear. And Draco Turtle and the Fanatics, they're just happy to vibe with the Svalbard. They love bears. We all love bears.
Who wouldn't? When it actually allows you to be one thing and other things occasionally. So, those who love transformation go into the cult quite easily.
So, 5 coins here in the bank for Kazuya would require a single leader charge if you wanted to go for the morals here.
Ye who wander on the gale, ye we summon, ye we
And
call.
with that in mind, it is going to be the pillar to get rid of the bounty. And then just the value of the Draco turtle coming through here.
Well, we've not had enough.
Okay, so we get the leader,
This is-
bank is full, flying Redanian is appearing. Now I know how many coins there are. the flying Redanian flying out is kinda a giveaway.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it was intentional here, but saving the Flying Redanian until after this Blood has come out and been dealt with saves a few extra points here for Kazuya. And looking at the board state here, yes, Darren is ahead, but that is a huge Draco turtle. And if we see the morals cleaning up the Draco turtle, I'm not sure how easy of a time Darren will have actually keeping up here. Canoe being used to deal with the front row spender though.
And we see the bounty being paid. No way you are allowing this tribute being paid. No way you are not paying tribute to Morils. And yeah, now there is a question of catching up. Like, you have hit wave for 12. You have Spores on the other hand that plays like for 4 points. Verification is a 10, so yeah, you are getting there. There is also a problem of spending, but you're not getting there in one card.
Yeah.
What's the Ursan leader charges?
5 charges
5
still hasn't
charges,
been used
okay,
yet.
yeah.
But yeah, the leader isn't really going to play for any points
Yep.
in this board state though. Maybe it can kind of do something with the spores, but yeah, it's not super helpful. But I don't think Kazuya would want to commit the Apparontia here because there is no good spender on board. So it should be fine for Darren to just catch up here with the heat wave. Yeah, I don't see any way that you could get away with just playing the spores.
And heat wave kinda allows you to spend some charges, but there is Sigvald, so no real reason to do so. So yeah, heat wave is being applied, and full leader is being preserved. So Acherontia travels into round 3, but for that you need a spender. And one of your spender is bleeding and second is Candle, but at least verification is out. So
Yeah.
and
So,
Heatwave
yeah,
is
so we'll be
out, so
seeing-
your spender is fine. If the others die, of course. Oh, look, an Aeromancy by round 3. Love to see that. It's just that you missed both Sigrifa's right and Sigvald, so...
So I wonder if Darren is going to go for the Sigvald or the Sigrifa's right for the Canute here, off of this Neomancy. I wouldn't be surprised if we just see huge Sigvald and use the order to damage this Olgerd.
Fill our hearts with wrath.
While Kazuya is staying interactive, you can just start your own engine, even if it's only 3 turns. Not dealing damage to Olgerd is profitable for that priest.
A bit unlucky there with the Flying Redanian not going the same road as the Oxenfurt Guard. Not going to give that pocket potential. It is actually going to be the Sigdrifer's right for the Canute. Deals with the Spender. And is threatening another 5 points next turn if not dealt with, which it doesn't look like Kazuya can deal with this Canute.
So you don't want to play into spores too much. But do it 5 damage. What else is dealing damage? Nothing really. So yeah, Dakironte is being kept at 10.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 19-point final turn here for Darren, it looks like. And then it might come down a bit to what the Akaronche is going to pull, as whether Kazuya is going to be able to catch up. Yeah, so yeah, down 18 points, needs to double their current point value. In this switch onto Executioner, it's not a good spender because there's no opportunity for this bleeding to go through. Hit. Okay, Hysteria. It's gonna be enough.
Yeah, didn't really need too much, and we have Kazuya winning this game number 1. So we didn't see from big cards on the Sigvald featuring.
Yeah. Yeah, just a Sigvald missing.
But sometimes one card is big enough. All the Toll Punishes were out, so would have been nice to establish that. But maybe in a short round without Mardromes wouldn't really matter too much. Okay, so Kazuya takes the lead in the semifinal, getting through with Syndicate, but still has Status Nilfgaard and Siege to play with,
I think
no.
Sigvald would have been worth more points than the Canute there. Pretty sure it would have been more than 15 points, which is what the Canute played for. I don't think it makes the difference, but you get an extra 3 points from the Martyrdom damage, an extra 5 points from your leader charges. Yeah. Anyways, blue coin for the Death Wish here for Darren. What going to be trying to maximize that Erendite value, get use of this Urn of Shadows with that Bruce Ritual already being found. Gonna be up against the Aristocrats, however, and all these locks and the Van Mom servants copying over the locks can make the Death Wish life quite difficult.
Okay, Verdagon, quite talented with the draws, but not all of them.
Yeah. So, and this is the kind of matchup where yeah, second form Dagon, it just gets answered super easily with a lock. It doesn't feel good to have it in the second form. You'd much rather just play it out in the first form. Try to get as much just straight up points down value that isn't vulnerable to being locked.
Especially since there is no Graveyard Punish available. Would be nice to have all the carryover set up. Alas. Okay, not infiltration didn't really go too well for the mage infiltrator here, but maybe Kazuya doesn't really care. With how first 2 turns going, this is not the most tempo you can establish, so he can establish the status in his hunting pack and look for a way out after playing the 3rd card.
Yeah, And just a little bit what this third card would be. I think you, in this kind of matchup, you really value the Van Mohem Hunter. Potentially, the Servant just gets tossed out here.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful servant.
Yeah, just doomed over to the Cursed Toad means that it won't be able to come back and have a second. It's not Hobbit, but no second breakfast for that Cursed Toad.
So sometimes clicking buttons not that great,
Yeah,
as it turns out. But we continue going here because we are as bronzes to play out. Those poisons that you can float on enemy units are not that great when your opponent runs Siliana Harpies and Consume Leader. So tries to get cash in some value on them already here in round 1. If it doesn't work, it probably costs your opponent an extra consume that is quite valuable on Harpies, on Deathlough, etc, etc. Okay, but
Yeah.
this is as far as it goes.
yeah, and I think it would be a bit risky playing too much further into the round 1 there, because if you do end up losing after a longer round 1, it gives your opponent a shorter round 2 to potentially bleed you in, and I think Aristocrats can struggle in that kind of situation.
Okay, all the big gold aristocrats chilling in the deck. There is the Dagon. There is a lock. And Peller is available, but yeah, available in general. You need a tutor
Yes.
for that. But
Yeah.
theoretically, if somebody will ask later, Peller will send his like worksheet saying that yeah, I was there. I don't know, nobody asked
Yeah.
anything from me.
There's a- Yeah, busy tending to Princess. And so it's going to be Squirrel found on the final mulligan. The wrong 4 provision tech card in this case. Look, you could get rid of a coup, but it could be a little bit of a slower playing response here. So it's going to be the ball to answer the Dagon.
But you
Play.
look to be an honest man. Help us. Drive away the hooligans.
Doesn't really care if the Dagon gets eaten here. It won't have that much value, so it can delay the lock or save the lock for something like the Deathlough or the Ruckus Queen instead. This... I wonder if you just jam the Cyclops here. Dame can get quite big and quite scary, so you'd like to just take her out early on and maybe want to keep this Dagon available to threaten that lock.
Okay. Alternatively, this can happen. So there is a Rompali angle opening,
Hoist the colors. We're going to war.
and that both deals with the Dagon and deals with the Deathlough. Beautiful. Of course, there was Emir that could have destroyed Rompali's plans. You know, you plan something as an admiral, and there is that emperor that tries to, but not this time around. So plan was executed beautifully.
So yeah, probably heads up here, saving the Cyclops for the bigger threat in the Admiral Rompali. But, and this is the issue for Deathlough, with just that one play, the Deathlough is dealt with, the Dagon is dealt with, and what does Death Wish do now? Do you just, I guess you can jam the Ruckus Queen for the Deathlough, the Higher Vampire now, but you're still playing into this lock. Opponent has good engine value. They have the second Chaldron Bowl still to trigger.
Trickery. Treachery.
Okay, so tutor for the
Well done if
succubus.
you can still walk.
There is one in the graveyard as well, but how do you feel about jamming the leaders on that? Probably not really, not now. You have a toad to play. But you're kinda running out of good plays
That's the right shot.
from hand, so whatever is in the board is supposed to be generating that through the Death Wish. And at the moment, Toad, Araha's Queen and Doldulok all represent the consume. But at the same time, the Thirsty Dame is growing.
So I'm going to poison the Roderick here because you're expecting this Dettlaff to potentially get eaten by the Arrakis Queen, which would then nullify the poison. But yeah, and like you're really feeling like no Cursed Toad carryover here means that the Dettlaff play, the Succubus play, it just doesn't have that extra oomph straight away, and it's what's allowed Kazuya to stay ahead. And it also means that the Arendite, it's at a decent 10 damage, but it's the Arendite is sitting in deck and it's not available here to get a bit of nice points, deal with an engine like this Vicious Aristocrats either.
Give me my son.
Fergus just creating some status effects, but yeah. Feels like a throwaway card, or like the card exactly created for this moment when you have your bronze engines already in play. It's good and it provides you with a play later on the second copy of Seditious Aristocrat, so allows you to preserve the bigger cards for later, while costing only 6 provisions himself.
Yeah, so it's just going to be the value trade here. Scroll coming out, not able to eat up the coup de grace, which does end up getting played here. Could be a little bit of carryover if we see a Dettlaff unit played from the coup next round and then played on the back row there for Kazuya. So that could be nice to see as well. Going to be a card down now for Dauren, heading into a 5 card to 6 card round 3. So it's going to be the AQ and Erendite. It's probably Succubus coming out from the Doldulok, and going to have to play quite careful to play around the lock from this Van Malm Hunter, from this Imposter Leader.
Okay, so no Heat Wave and no Riptide. Well, access to Riptide, no Heat Wave for Dauren here. Which means that one of the tallest units will be leaving. Oh, like engines will be growing slightly because your Riptide is a 50-50 here. And it hits Emir. So the units you play are not getting spied, but the units Kazuya is playing tend to have the spine status and tend to buff the aristocrat. So
yeah,
you have the Arendite to play on the engine, but also kinda need to consume every turn, so priority goes to the Succubus. And I guess we see double lock featured here.
I wonder what my sneakers would have captured this time.
Yeah. So the Arrakis Queen Connect is a sort of pseudo purify here. This current Succubus wouldn't get the Death Wish effect. Okay, we see the pillar coming out to get rid of that lock here. But the second one coming out from the Arrakis Queen would have the Death Wish available. But at this point, there's not really enough consumes for that to even matter. Getting hit by a tiny bit here, able to get this Arendite to continue ticking. I wonder if there's anything you're trying to save the Erendite for. Like, there's still 2 Dames left in deck, but at this point it's a bit late for them to really get value anyway, so maybe it's better to use the Dames to kill off the Stitched Aristocrats or the Usurper if you're scared of that engine potential. Which...
I despise Dimeritium.
Okay, so tall unit, nice for the Riptide. The entire row is with statuses, so this is a big Riptide, and Riptide is also of interest to Dauren here. Don't really need to consume the locked succubus, instead just spawn a 10-point unit. But considering Joachim is surviving the Death Wish on the Death Wish board, that's just enough of a push for Kazuya to win this game number 2. So great job on the status, and only has 1 deck left to get through and go to the final of winner takes all.
Yeah. So yeah, in the quarterfinal yesterday we saw the Aristocrats being the weaker point. For Kazuya, almost got reverse swept on that imposter list, but manages to get it through on the first attempt here in the semis. So just 1 more win needed already on series point.
Finally somebody with a proper comment about the borders. Remove the border, they are so bad and distracting. Everyone else was asking about the borders and how to get them, but finally the voice of reason is there. I was waiting for at least someone mentioned that. Why are they there? Yeah, also talking. When is the Cintrian playing? The Cintrian is playing after this series concludes, so anything from like 5 to 60 minutes. So Kazuya doesn't really have a freedom of choosing the deck, but chose the funny looking leader model. I don't know, this is just too good of a leader model. And plays his siege against Self-Wound, so Dauren takes Skellige on red coin second time in this match.
Yeah, it's no surprise seeing Self-Wound coming out from the red coin here, and probably will struggle to contest this round 1, which is why he played out where it's not running the risk of losing on even turn 1 Temple. It's always nice when you're able to draw the Temple this early. Ooh, Viraxis could be decent.
So, Temple cooked up Radovit, Priscilla and Viraxis. As we mentioned, this deck is running Unsaves from hand. So that's one of the potential targets, of course. If you see when your opponent rolls Viraxis, you probably are aiming at potentially hit waving or using spores on him to prevent the second use. Siege against Self-Wound with armor, with damage immune units and units that actually profit from damage. So yeah, but also Siege has been jammed in round 1 quite often for like, winning round 1, I suppose, purposes.
Yeah, this Northern Realms list we saw yesterday, the Siege used round 1 to secure the round control, but also just matchup wise, when like the Olgierd, the Sigvald are out later on in the round 2, round 3, the random damage from Siege is a lot worse, so it's better to pull it out here where you have more of a chance to try to combine your damage together to clean up this priest and really neuter this engine potential from Dauren.
Yeah, in the end that bombardment does really nothing against the double ship, but deals with the priest. Also, bot is asking game relevant questions, I suppose.
Yeah, so 2 copies of a card which used to be called Mushrooms, and we actually see that being played out right now.
For this most beautiful of maidens, I shall fight 100 duels!
So, yeah, look, I gotta appreciate Darren in this moment. Seems like quite a fun guy.
No. Had somebody stop him. Somebody help
11
me.
points. Up 4, because the lead's not going to stay that way, though. And, yeah, all these damage siege engines, they don't look particularly great. Into the double draw claw. Reinforced Bliss are going to clear away better armor for the battering ram and Caraballista to have a bit of a field trip, punching through to the more vulnerable wooden hull of the ship. And Carrack Marine, good little point slam too. As we get towards the tail end of this round, you really don't want to commit the Demavent nor the Ansays for Kazoo. You could toss the AA, but you've got to be careful about that waiting roll there. Happy to leap into action at a moment's notice and prevent any future amphibious assaults from occurring.
So, yeah. No food for the squirrel, because we didn't really want to leave an opening for amphibious assault being squirreled away. And both players kinda kept, yeah, those are the cards I'm fine not playing, and that was the gesture from both sides. And the spelling contest has been a win. Like chat doesn't have. I forgot to turn on the observer again, so chat couldn't highlight the card.
So Demavend finding Priscilla, gonna immediately reset the cooldown, so gonna get Rafad's Vengeance coming out.
One-way assault, I assure you.
What a fun little combo. Putting up 25 points. It's okay.
I don't know if I'll call it a little combo, but this
fun,
is disaster.
fun you agree with, right? Fun you will agree with.
I don't know if I agree with that either.
God damn it.
And looking at what Darren has drawn here, the Neomancy is missing, so that's bad, but more particularly, there's no access to the Svalbard, which is really the way that you'd counter this wide board coming out from Kazuya. So it's going to have to be the Canute to deal with this Kedweni Revenant, so it can stop this chain of run bids being killed and reborn. But there's no Svalbard, no KA Trolled. It basically means the point potential for Darren is just not there. At least you have the Canute, but if you try to get the Berserk through, this oil is ready to just deal with the Canute, and there's also an answer, it's just a cherry on top in case there's anything else that Darren tries, so...
Yeah, so 2 turns in a row, the Ronwit resurrection has been impeded.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll be king.
Those are 5 provision cards, pretty good and pretty dangerous combo. And yeah, I love the fact that they kind of make Ronwit, like there is no reason to play him outside of the Revenant spam deck.
Yeah.
So, cards, they have to work together, and sometimes they really do.
Yeah, and I think, like, from the side of Kazuya here, that Darren was so hell-bent on dealing with these Kedweni Revenants just straight away, might be indicating that there's no access to the Svalbard, because usually you're happy to just play out your totem, play out the Svalbard, deal 4 damage to the whole board, and the Revenant value is all neutralized, but...
So...
yeah, it's just...
yeah, that was nasty, and this was the Northern Realms for ya. I guess the only saving grace for Dauren is that we kind of managed to do it in 40 minutes, so he still has the entire day ahead of him, but yeah.
Yeah.
Rather unfortunate here.
Uh, yeah, so unlucky for Darren for sure. There, that was just some terrible draws. In particular that second self-wound game, but maybe the first one goes a bit differently if that Sid board was found earlier on too.
Yeah. So somebody wake up Syntron Line, the person who occasionally slept through the qualification run by CDPR. We just have this danger of players not really expecting the first match to conclude in 40 minutes, but that was like lightning speed rounds, especially in this game number 3. Nothing really think about much when you miss your cards. And for Kazuya, playing like a lot of games in the past months, yeah, that NR deck has its combos, but you basically do them, establish your board, and then just add some more little pieces, but with like Dem Event and Rafar's Vengeance on the board. Like, massive points immediately, and no hope for the opponent who missed the cards. Also, nicely sniped the Knut there with the soldier pocket around Rafar's Vengeance, so that Boiling Oil could just put a stop to any hope that Dowden had, maybe.
Yeah.
I will rope so you can cast longer. Thank you, Energix. Yeah, I mean, you are also playing against Syntron, who is known to use the length of the rope. It's just that, yeah, hopefully the draws will be balanced on both sides, and we'll have a great match. Okay, so supposed to take a break here and move to the game number 2, which will be Energix versus Syntron Lion. Let's reset the band screen and return. In what? 15 minutes? Yeah. In like
the game is starting in 15,
yeah, so somewhere in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
so be right back, chat, for the second semi-final of the day. The final is also happening today, just a reminder. Okay, so slowly getting back. I don't think we have Limoni back yet. But second semifinal. Так что да, второй полуфинал. Energix против Цинтры. Разбудите его. Hey, Yokerp. What delay? What a delay. Okay, remind me. Nah, don't really care. I will just keep this. So, Energix versus Sintra. We have the decks. 2 Syndicate, 2 Skellige decks, but other factions differ. Wait, and Double Imposter, but there is Monsters deck versus the Sintra line playing Militele. No green faction again. It didn't make its way to the semifinals indeed. Будут ставки, когда матч начнется. Матч еще не начался. So the decks. Get to the decks. Okay, and the first deck we are getting to is Energix's Jackpot. That we've seen in action yesterday, wasn't banned, and this is the one with Captain Yago and Madame Marquis Serenity. It's like the last CDPR Masters Gwent, but with the Siguruvin and Caesar Bilzen as well. So yeah, if you missed that chunk of Gwent in 2021 or maybe in 2023, we are back to jackpotting, but jackpot has some additional cards, additional tools in Iago and Madame Marquis Serenity. There is Philippa for yoinking your hopefully 9 power win con.
Yeah.
From opponent side of the board, but occasionally we see her underperform, so 21 for nowadays. 9 is not always achievable.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see the Philippa being a bit more valuable today, because it really did not hit the mark yesterday. But there's always the threat potential if the Philippa can make your opponent play in different ways as they otherwise would like to. But it was a struggle to have enough coins in the bank at the right time for the Philippas to actually do something.
Okay, next 2 decks have been covered by the players extensively, so we are not really stopping.
Yeah.
The increase, it's a Neuromancy Self-Wound and quite regular status deck with Rompali and Emir and Usurper, so no space for mid provision cards. But the last one, Arachas Swarm, buff your side of the fill your side of the board and buff your side of the board, and maybe look to not run out of space type of Arachas Swarm deck.
Yeah, we saw some really nice Yennefer Vengerberg yesterday, getting the early Swarm. I think it was against Symbiosis. It managed to pick up a win. And yeah, I'm excited to hopefully see this Monsters deck again. I really hope it doesn't get banned.
Yeah. So, but this is the mood of the tournament: Self-Wound and Imposter Masquerade Ball. But then we switch to Synchron Lines decks. And look, there is Imposter, and you go like, again, but no. This is Constructs. You go Skellige, where is the Self-Wound? No, this is the Echo Bounce deck. Military Bounce deck, and finally, the most regular, the most normal deck is Blood Money Bounty.
Yeah. But, so where are we starting here?
Yeah,
What would you like to
you
talk us
choose where
Okay.
you want to start.
Personally, I have a soft spot for Constructs. Some of my favorite decks in the last while have been Construct mid-range piles, so I'm excited for this Nilfgaard Imposter list. Tying up the Construct package with a bit of a opponent clog cards, things like the Sandor, the Abduction, and the double toxicologist can allow you to create some quite valuable things and then play them out with the abduction. So yeah, quite mid-rangey, decent bit of control as well with that leader and then the heat wave and the damage of the constructs.
Yeah, so the Colossal Ifrit is like the massive card if it goes off, but sadly there is no Letter Kingslayer for the second copy of it. But yeah, there is enough thing to build a win from your constructs in 2 rounds, as we've seen yesterday against Kikimor Queen deck. Reckless Flurry deck is the one that raises a lot of eyebrows when people see it in action, because the Lippy is being played quite early there, sometimes discarding one of the like expensive cards like Radea yesterday. It also runs a questionable package of like Musicians of Blaviken with other 4P cards, only 1 Croak Messenger. So yeah, questions will be asked if you don't know how the deck operates, but it just revolves around the Echo cards. So since those return, you don't really need the bad cards like those beasts for 5 and 4 provisions, but they all feed into the huge Corrupted Flaminica for 30 points. And you can also replay the Flaminica if your Compass works for Fukusia. And then yeah, also if the cards killed early, you are playing Lippy, so you might shuffle something back if your opponent is although there are not that many. I guess if your Radea is killed, you can replay her. So that's the idea, just rely on your Echo cards. If your opponent plays Graveyard Hate like Lemons, you will be in trouble. But even with the card down situation yesterday, Sinton Lion managed to win on the fact that huge Flaminica plays for many points, and if your opponent lacks reset, you are in a sweet spot. And then, like, yeah, there is a bounty deck that we are not really stopping for long con, because it's just playing Golden Necker Bounty, so crimes that set up bounties and bronzes that collect them. Poison package in like Blindheim Brothers and some bronzes plus morale. And of course you have only 2 locations, so Golden Necker mulligans are important.
Yeah, we're seeing another Philippa in this Blood Money list, and we usually don't see it in Golden Necker because sometimes they can struggle a bit more with that coin generation, I think. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And I guess the last list to mention is this Militale, which I didn't get to see it in action yesterday. But is this the usual, just try to play all your units out early and then have it only the single Priestess and Militale deck to shuffle the Mentors? Or does this actually thin to almost 0? Because I do see that Vernon Roche in the deck.
Sorry, I was checking Discord. So you talked about Military. I kind of missed the ending of what was the Vernon Roche comment.
Yeah, I haven't seen this exact list in action. Does it thin to like 0 and then you have like a guaranteed Roche for the Priestess and Militale?
Well, ideally it's supposed to, yes. With Drakenborg like pull in an extra card, since yeah, you do want your Vernon Roche to pull your final cards. Like, it's good to have a minimum number of units for Griffin Witcher Mentors, but in the end, if you are running Vernon Roche, yeah, you are supposed to thin to 0. I guess there is like Drakenborg, there is Double Cross. 2, and Siege Master, so should be enough thinning. Although deck running Vial of Forbidden Knowledge raises some eyebrows because that's not guaranteed thinning.
Yeah, and it's when you're trying to run a finely tuned deck, like if you're building a hyper thin list, then Vial is a very strange card to run because you want it to be the same kind of game plan every single game, but then if the Vial comes out half the games, but half the games it doesn't come out, then, well, what do you do then? You need to have some other thinning, which is more option.
Okay, so by the looks of it, no bans yet. So somebody really needs to wake up Syntron Line. Energix was in chat, so that should be fine. Oh, so Metal has been flipping coins apparently. Or what was it? Random order?
Yeah, just deciding who will be blue coin.
Yep.
Basically put 5 names of each player in a hat, or a metaphorical hat.
Okay, and I guess the last one.
Yeah, I'm
Wait.
not sure if the last or the first one is the one that matters, but in this case it was both
one, I
Centurion.
guess. Okay.
Yeah, I think the first one, judging by the previous series. Yeah. So, do you have any predictions on what we're gonna see in terms of bans?
In terms of bans, I'm not even sure. Looking at Syntron's lineups, of course you probably would... okay, I'll ban the most normal list, Bounty, but yeah, let's look. So Jackpot has a lot of things that kinda need answering. I don't think Syntron Line's decks, especially military, run any form of I'll answer all of your cards. So I cannot really angle at the control. Same goes, like you cannot really control anything from Aristocrats or and Jackpot running that military, so military probably goes through. Then we have no Graveyard Hate really outside. There is no even Squirrel in Ursine Ritual for the Energix. So you cannot really interrupt the Echo deck, but maybe you can just beat Echo deck. Energix has Curse of Corruption, has Karate Heat Wave, and that leaves like Constructs and Bounty. I don't know, I'd just ban Bounty, but Bounty I've seen so many times losing just to the poor draws. This is the question of, do you draw your Golden Necker, do you draw your locations properly. Syntron is also playing Golden Necker with Philippa there, so that might backfire occasionally.
Yeah, because we see some players like to run the Matahuri with the Golden Necker to guarantee that you draw your most important card. But we don't see that. Instead, it's just the Roach thinning and then the Vivaldi Bank Tutor for that consistency in trying to find the Golden Necker, which it helps, but only so much. And if you don't find the Golden Necker, then you're just depressed, basically.
Why is there a Peller in Ursine Ritual deck? Well, it's a tech card that helps you to go to opponent's defender, unlock your own card. It costs you nothing to add it into the deck. You have what, an Aeromancy usually to tutor for it if you are in dire need of Purify.
Yeah, and
Purify bleeding on Sigvald, of course, is another way to look at it. Oh, my card is bleeding and it's like 17 bleed on it. Yeah, better Purify. Otherwise the guy is just dying. But no, mostly not. Okay, well, like the timer's gonna end soon for Syntron Lion. To to make a ban. So the question is, was it really that the first match ended too fast?
Might have been. Yeah, and just another note on the Pella. Self-Win is a kind of deck that has a lot of sort of just mulligan fodder at the 4-piece slot. It's quite polarized. You'll notice that in the different players have different kind of 4P tech cards. They're basically always gonna mulligan, but it's like on that sort of like 10% of games where it's gonna matter what do you want to have. For some players it's the Spores, for some it's the Crow's Eye, for some it's the Pella, and look, generally you can't go wrong just having a Pella, because in certain matchups, say purifying a defender, purifying a pivotal lock or a poison, it can go way beyond its worth in provisions.
Okay, bans mod check not happening. I guess that's also a problem with a lot of online tournaments in general, when you don't really know how long the series goes. In terms of best of 5, can end up with 3 matches only, with a fast forfeit as well. Can go for 5 games with multiple ties. So yeah, it should be flexible. Is the March starting soon? Well, that's a good question. If Sintian Lion is anywhere to be seen.
Don't think I've seen anything Centurion Line on the Discord today.
I mean,
so
and as I mentioned, he is the one that people also mentioned. Thronebreaker throughout the night, so that doesn't help as well. We also didn't have rope in players in the previous match, so that went pretty fast.
Yeah.
Так что кто-нибудь разбудите Цинтриана, сходите к нему домой, потрясите и скажите, что пора играть. So yeah, maybe somebody is living nearby and they go and wake him up. I don't know.
Yeah, if there's no Centurion awake, then I have no clue what happens in that case. Let's hope that we don't need to worry about that eventuality.
Yeah, maybe Lily just forced all the good plays out of Centurion already, so he has no idea. Oh, look, the Kungfoorabbit is awake with the next question. Full tilt. You asked for it. It's also too easy. So, the thing about the trivia bot running automatically is that you need to answer without question marks, without quoting, without anything. Just answer. Otherwise, you will be scammed. At least you will not be as bad as Full Tilt answering the question about Sarah with Salamandra Assassin. We would have taken it, but Salamandra Assassin, no.
Yeah, I remember, like, previously, like a year ago, I wanted to do some kind of like Gwent trivia type thing. But if you tried to do the same thing now with all the powers and provisions of cards constantly changing due to Balance Council, any questions you tried to write would just get out of date way too quickly.
Yep, I'm using what Feldy has uploaded when he was still doing Gwent related content, and that was like a thing that I didn't want to. I can tag in for Centurion if you allow. Well. Also my Discord broke. Well, didn't break, but doesn't want to. Sometimes Windows just don't want to open properly. I don't know. Windows updates for the For the loss, not for the win.
At least, like, you know, those streams or like on computers, how in the bottom right corner we just have like Windows Update needed. It's like constantly there, and then no one ever clicks on it, and then you just have like this video or this stream where it's just there and they haven't realized, and it's just the entire length of it is just bugging you. Well, maybe that's just a really niche thing and you don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I did update my Windows updated itself from 10 to 11 without asking at some point. I guess there was like notification that I didn't see because I was AFK, but it forced itself, and after that the problem with Discord cam started, and occasionally Windows not being like in focus or being too in focus, jumping between two monitors. Yeah, love that stuff. So at the moment when I try to press the Discord tab, it just automatically minimizes itself. Beautiful.
Yeah, and
okay,
speaking
so
of
yeah,
Discord,
we
it looks
get the
like-
communication from Metal. Of course, that's rootless, but it is what it is. And we have a technical loss and technical win assigned.
Yeah, and well, I think the first series did go by quite quickly. I think schedule-wise, you probably, like timetable-wise, put like an hour at minimum for each series. So I think this second semi was probably scheduled to start about like, is it 1 p.m. CST perhaps? So then 10 minutes past that time, then yeah, you are kind of pushing the schedule time a bit too far in that case.
Okay,
So-
the final time then. Let me fight for my bratan. Well, I guess Metal already. I'm Sitchen now. Engine cringe. Okay, you're doing the great job, Kerb, but I guess Metal went with the setting up the next match, so yeah, Cintrian Lion. Hopefully he was winning in the Throne Breaker though. So Energix versus Kazuya will be our final. Guys, you did the bad job at waking up. Я ж попросил, разбудите Цинтриана. Nobody went and woke him up. Unlucky. So we just talked about Kazuya decks like an hour ago though, and we've just seen them in action 30 minutes ago, so I put them up on screen. So it will be Oneiromancy-less Portal based Earthen Ritual Self-Wound. It will be Inspired Zeal Siege, Status Nilfgaard, and also Line Pockets with Savola. I can call him now. Well, I would assume that he was pinged. But he is a miss for what, 20 minutes, so unlucky, I suppose.
Yeah.
Especially with the other players waiting. Then
Bapanada.
Deepcell, thanks for the follow. We need to update this. 00. Energix, and we don't know the bands. We are waiting for the new series to start.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
So
Lemon
yeah,
mod check is that because he won't be. So also, what am I doing with the band screen even? There is nothing to show on the band screen, and we're just rolling with quadruple victory of Energix. Bam, 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 bam. He won with 4 decks. Why couldn't he be late yesterday?
I like that.
Unlucky Lilith. Yeah, that would have been another angle, but it's just... The way we'll go with it is straight to the final with Energix. What are those? I haven't watched wrestling. Ah, okay. I see. Anyone goes in. And now the Curpiton is joining the arena, and from the 4 sides we have player hands, and it's like Mahjong or something. Royal Rumble, yeah. I'm not sure how tournament platform will look at that. Okay, guys, I barely carried you through the 5 years of Gwent tournaments, and now you're trying to destroy me completely. Yeah. Think of the tournament platform. Just let anyone join randomly. That would be probably the way the winner takes all will be operating if there are more tournaments, because this was like an invitational. I don't know, I cannot do anything about Lemon's webcam. Something broke. I guess I'll close my Chrome.
It's not your side. I'm just randomly blinking in and out of existence.
I see.
It makes it a little difficult for my webcam to focus on me.
Yeah, I'll sacrifice my own webcam. Maybe that's... I remember when that was a problem.
I mean, it might just be easier if I disappear instead.
I mean, I need to figure out how to do that. Anytime I click on Discord, it's in focus. Nah. Just rigged. Nope. Gone. Okay, so it's completely broke. I guess we won't have Lemon, or we can have Lemon gray screen. Check Discord. Okay, if only I could click on Discord. So yeah, I'll turn the webcam, your webcam off for now, Lemon, because it just doesn't want to be in focus whatsoever. I cannot even properly access the Discord. Okay, match 7. Thank you, Metal. We are live, Ziad, but we are having some... It's not even... Let's name it scheduling problems, basically. It's not even technical difficulties. Okay, so Metal provided us with match 7. Man, I'm gonna uninstall Discord right about now. It's annoying me. I cannot do anything in it.
Yeah.
I cannot open our call to actually stop the pop. Oh, okay, I found it. Return to
this
app.
was meant to bring us all together, but right now it's just so in Discord.
Yeah, so I'm having fucking technical difficulties. The tournament itself is sorta ready to progress, but yeah, on my side I decided to not have a great time.
But yeah, I gave sort of another 15-ish minute break for the players before the grand final, so probably starting up in maybe 5-ish minutes about. Then we'll see the players starting to make that bands then. Perhaps slightly sooner, we'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, you see the final decks. Well, because we had to play through 2 series, Energix fast traveled, he had a save for the final, I guess, loaded that up. after maybe not competing in Gwent for a year on like tournaments. Of course, he still played the ladder, but we see that double imposter, double earthen ritual is there, and then it starts to deviate a little bit. Imagine this happening in CDPR Open. Sorry, I was sleepy. I mean, this literally happened. I remember Cintrian missed one of the qualies. I remember there was a disbalance. He also slept through one of the qualifier that he was grinding for. So it's not a new thing. I'm pretty sure that... and those are like the streamers that we do know that they were planning and talked with their audience that, yeah, I'm playing tomorrow. How many of the more casual players who were like, yeah, I'll play, and then, fuck, I forgot.
You know what's better than oversleeping for a quali? It's playing in a quali and then falling asleep halfway through.
Did that happen to you?
Not in a CDPR quali, but for a, I think it was a House of Leviota tournament quali, like a
I see.
big 128 plus player quali. I fell asleep after like the 5th round. It was like,
I mean, yeah, I guess you guys also had Team Australia at one point. Not that you overslept, but the time zones just don't work. It's the same for Mayamon and Chinese players, for example, playing it as the last slot during the CDPR events. Nothing you can do about that if the seeding and scheduling is random.
yeah, I'm surprised because I don't think they made any allocation for like player time zones as to when they would get to play. Like have a certain, like have the plays in certain time zones play first.
Maybe there was something, but then like the draw show, if they are doing official like pulling or out of the balls when Buja and casters were doing that, you cannot really have it there.
Yeah.
And of course we switched to the online tournaments years and years ago. Like in place wouldn't be a big problem. But imagine in person tournaments, why is Metal not like we could have woken Cintrian up if he was just in location with everyone else. Okay, so Energix goes first. So now I guess players will be doing the ban. Another Kungfoorabbit question up, and it won't even load open for me. Okay, internet difference.
Yeah, it's very funny when the person with Australian internet is able to win the race.
Yeah, I see. Opened.
I feel like our internet is quite not great.
I mean, ours is fine. It might be just that I'm streaming, so it didn't allocate resources immediately. Okay, so the match started. As in, the bans are open. So Energix versus Kazuya will be our pair. We covered the decks more or less, a bit chaotically, but this is the final. Winner does get to take all of it. The whole $100 provided by Metal. If you want to increase those $100 for whatever tournaments, I can discuss the crowdfunding, but imagine funding and spending money on Gwent tournaments, right? Metal doesn't even give me any links and deleted the crowdfund from the Discord, so you should just write and throw money at Metal. Maybe find him in person and throw money at him.
Metal has a Twitch. You could go try and subscribe there. But so bans wise, it looks like the Northern Realms inspired Siege list is banned for Kazuya, and the Aristocrats is banned for Energix.
Did they even spend time thinking about the bans, or did they ban the first deck on the list on the ban screen? We wouldn't know, but yeah. No aristocrat mirror once more, but we are up for the self-wound mirror potentially.
Yeah. I feel like self-wound, just like something I've noticed is that usually when self-wound is in play, it tends to get queued at the first red coin available, whereas aristocrats often seems to just be kept for like the very last deck in the series that you end up playing with a bit more. Maybe that's just a small sample size from yesterday, but I feel like that kind of holds more in general as well.
Okay, so the card is spinning. Do we try to... Can you turn the webcam on so that we can, now that we are actually casting, we can try it one more time. Okay.
Yeah.
This.
So it's
This.
going to be Energix on the blue coin to kick us off. Probably gonna play the Syndicate or Monsters here. Likely expecting Kazuya to take Self-Wound on the red. No, it's a Syndicate Mirror.
Ah,
So
yeah.
I think this is actually how we started off Energix's series yesterday.
Yeah, and wasn't it? No, today it was different, but yeah, it is Syndicate versus Syndicate. So Jackpot on blue versus Lined Pockets on red. Kazuya with double Open Sesame and double Shady Vendor in hand. That might get insane amounts of carryover into the graveyard if you have the time to set it up, because well, there is Madame in Energix's hand.
Yeah.
And she is not bricked, and she is flying, not flying. Maybe you decide that your opponent will be doing slow plays, so you preserve it. And indeed, we see the lead with Beggar.
Any diamonds?
And just an engine. The order is interesting for the two then. Any reason in particular that Beggar led the charge?
Yeah, like you're not worried about a brawler since there wasn't
okay.
any
Yeah.
access to coins. Since you're going first, so there was no need to worry about brawlers. So, yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't lead off with the. Oh wait, oh no, it's not Tiger's Eye. So yeah, you needed the board in this list, I think. Wait, is it? I can't remember. Too many syndicate lists. Bounty comes through. Passy Pichu's gonna get cleaned up. But we have double Beggar, double Soul Raider on board here for Energix, and both players a full coin bank.
So how do you feel as a player when your opponent didn't slam the Madam on the as a first card in the round? Don't you feel like offended every time on ladder? I see everyone slams the Madam turn 1, and you actually had it in hand and didn't play it out. And surprise, surprise, we actually have the pass, but not a tempo one, just a normal pass.
Fine. Yeah, so this is a really secret thing in Gwent, but you don't actually need to play Madam Lucky Serenity turn 1, round 1. You can save her for future rounds, especially against a deck like this one here, where if you're able to get a bit of overprof on the Madam turn, get her out of range of the Horson Jr. Insanity click, then it can be quite difficult to deal with the Madam and the Horse that she summons out.
So chat, I hope you're taking notes, because yeah, this is some groundbreaking stuff from Lemon. They don't really teach that in Gwent schools anymore.
You need to get to Gwent University. It's a higher level of education, which you'll only find at Novigrad, or maybe actually Oxenfurt would have been a better tie through there. But immediate slamming off the locations from both players. Novigrad on the side of Kazuya, Candle on the side of Energix, Intide Plunder gonna pull out a Siege Arc also. Haven't a spender on both sides, and now to respond, it's going to be the Madam, since Kazuya has gone now down past that 7 card mark. So it's, if Energy is able to stay ahead, that will mean card advantage going into the round 3. But Flying Redanian soaring back out onto the board for both players. And it's very quick gameplay coming through here.
And the Arena Ghoul. And the question is, why is it here? Well, it has a category onto itself, so might be one of the reasons. As in the deck is okay, let's see the crime, mutagens, eavesdrop, fully Neventine, so crime into crime. When you go down that road, it's just crime after crime. You start listening to like, secret talks, start trading in the secrets. But yeah, there is the Sigiruven that is getting profit for each unique category, so you need to add something. And one thing that Energex added was the poison onto the Sea Jackal, causing Kazuya's retreat from the round, but it comes at a cost already, being a card down. So, Candle established on both sides. Kazuya doesn't have a card, but has a card from Novigrad, so it kind of balances itself out a little bit. You get a bronze, maybe that.
There's also 3 open sesames in the graveyard though, so I think even though you're card down here, there is decidedly more carryover on the side of Kazuya. And despite having only 5 cards in deck here, Energix is missing both the Soul and the Philippa. So we'll see what the decision is on what you choose to get with the Decree. There is the double poison in the Fistek and Salamandra failed experiment for Energix, but you're not going to want to sit on the failed experiment click. You will need to use it straight away because Kazuya is able to high roll a poison from their Uneventide Plunder. So Searuven profiting a lot here, going very tall.
He was saved by the Candle to play around the Junior, but Morils coming from the bank, considering there is not that many cards, was quite likely with a full bank. I mean, quite likely, as in should be close to doable. But yeah, considering the KOB was still in the deck, so it was out of 7 cards, and Morils in this deck has tribute 6, so could have low rolled.
I think Energix, you would have preferred the opponent to miss the Morals for sure, but at least now you know it's out. It means that the Captain Yago is going to be saved. You can go as tall as you like on the Captain Yago without worry. But the issue is that now this Caesar Blitzen is not good, to say the least. It can get the extra 2 profit on the Coast Blacksmith, but
yeah, your Royal Decree also doesn't... Okay, you can steal the second Cursed Blacksmith and get extra 2 coins to those, but yeah, that's not why Caesar Bilzen is in deck, considering he costs 8 provisions. And he is also quite a bad spender.
Yeah, like you compare these spenders. The only way for Energix to get something better than a 1-for-1 spending rate is through this Candle. Whereas Kazuya managed to roll the Eternal Fire Disciple from the Eventide Plunder. That's a nice 2-for-1 spender that you can click each turn. And the Oxenfurt Guard is a 4-for-2, which is effective 2-for-1 spender when you get to the bottom of your coin bank as well, which, if you're able to stay near that 0 coin threshold, the Novigrad giving you a little bit each turn to get to that point where you can click on the Oxenfurt Guard, it's going to get a lot further mileage out of coinage than Energix will.
So yeah, those sesames are getting ready, at the moment still a bit far away, but considering the Lined Pockets leader would be... this Acherontia will be cooking quite soon, but it can only cook up some bronze cards, question is, can you combine them somehow to
You are worthy
To
neither
collect
of
the
mercy
bounty.
nor forgiveness.
and reactivate her immediately?
Hold now! We must negotiate.
Here's the issue. I don't think you're gonna have enough coins. Actually, hang on. How's the King of Beggars? Okay, if you go for the Morale 6 tribute, which you kind of need to go before the Philippa, I think. Because otherwise you can be struggling a bit for the coinage. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an awkward sequencing here for Energix. But you do know at least that you could float the failed experiment for one turn here. Since there are no more Eventide plunders, you could play it and then have the fist tech the following turn. Could open up a bit of different sequencing choices. But yeah, it's going to be a very late soul coming through. Simply because there isn't enough coinage for the Philippa. I'm going to spend on the soul enough to get it to 9.
Doesn't
Right,
really
still in range.
doesn't really help, yeah, dealing with the junior catching you up. And yeah, this is the Sesame. Next trigger is the final one, so can go and spend with the candle 2 times, setting you exactly onto the Sesame trigger. I don't know, Captain Yago kinda dropped and I didn't even notice the oomph of that turn. Of course, we do see Energix being ahead here.
And here comes the Acherontia, so going to be getting a lot of immediate value here with the Open Sesame set up in the graveyard already. So, I
Stereo coming is not that great, but there is a junior. And yeah, look at this Morils. He can of course have some Morils on Morils action, but that's not amazing. The poison also needs money,
Yeah.
and you don't really swim in that, and your target's kind of questionable.
I think
So decides to get the Flying Ardanian with a full bank first, and then see.
You will not stand in the way of my master's plans. I won't let you.
So there is another one for Kirontia, but this time around it's just money from the crime. You're not
Yeah.
getting paid for that,
yeah.
but you are like double the points almost ahead, so
Yeah, look, the standard, yeah, you can't get any value from the bounty, but it does end up giving you 4 coins with this leader. And with the Oxenfurt Guard, that turns into 6 points, so it's not a bad top deck at all. And yeah, quite a dominant round 3 there, despite being a card down for Kazuya.
yeah, so pretty good round 1 hand, allowing for the setup of the graveyard, and GG's for the game number 1. This is the final, so yeah, we skipped one of the semifinals, so like one of the players skipped one of the semifinals, so we had to skip it too. Sintra Classic, yep, Yaro. Could have been you, just needed to queue into Sintrian when he was asleep. Unlucky. Okay, so game number 2, and now it's Kazuya on blue. Aristocrat, self-wound, kinda can be both cute from red, but I guess you have to cue something from blue.
I feel like aristocrats seem to me a bit more likely to get the Q on blue coin here.
Yeah.
I think they tend to get a little bit more mileage out of the stratagem in terms of protecting an engine.
Yeah. Okay, so since we also have the final, the next event is in need of promotion, and next weekend you all can participate in Lilith's Forbidden Provisions tournament. But now time to see the self-wound mirror, and it means that Skellige self-wound will win, unless they tie, but they will play till one of the sides wins. So we won't be seeing any more mirrors of it today. But
It's
two
a
philosophies. Yeah, go.
It's totally not a mirror because Kazuya's running Portal, but Energix has a Neuromancy, so it's
Does he now?
completely
Does he
different
really?
deck.
Is he playing a Neuromancy? I don't see it. I do see the portal just dropping. Ooh! There you go. 10 points, all in one, 11 provision card. Yes. I don't see a Neuromancy. I might be blind though. Okay, maybe the Moon Berserkers are not the best cards to play against the Armored Drakkar, but... Oh, see, Oneromancy from Maxi. You can see it in your dreams. Like, maybe Sintian is sleeping now and, yeah, dreaming of this Oneromancy at the bottom of the deck. That can be what's happening. Do you need Oneromancy? I didn't pay attention. I was too focused, tunnel visioned on that Oneromancy. I don't know what Maxi was showing other than this.
I didn't realize you took your Neuromancy so seriously. Your study of dreams, you're dreaming of a Neuromancy. Quite meta.
Yeah. Oh, look, also, Matahuri, bringing you the card you missed. Oneromancy, still potentially at the bottom of the deck. But there is a world where this will be reversed. Just let Kazuya play this deck 2-3 more times in the tournament, and maybe it would be like, oh, no portal, unlucky. And you have all the portal targets in your hand. Unfortunate, you have to play some of them. All your homies hate on the Neuromancies. Yeah.
Oh man, I've completely lost all my trains of thought now.
Your magic can't
I'm
harm
sorry.
me.
Yeah. See, now you play Maxi. It only shows you like 10 cards. Yeah, good thinning, good stuff. You can figure out what you draw in, and yeah, don't see this 12 provision echo card at the bottom of your deck. You feel better. Like at the moment, if you are measuring morale, Kazuya is in a much better state because of no Oneromancy.
So it's in terms of the engine potential for both players, it's somewhat even, with the priest being active every turn passively, but the adept isn't nearly as good a target as the Drakkar. So early Spellblood coming up from Energix, and this is the downside of Portal is it's multiple units, which goes wider and it kind of falls prey to the Spellblood. So good bit of immediate value for Energix, able to get ahead. But it's going to be a bit of a struggle to trigger the Spellblood additional times here. And Greatsword is an amazing pull from this K-Trod for Kazuya. It immediately heal to full, just about, if this Spellblood gets triggered again. And yeah, just a nice 10-point play in this case. But Drakkar gonna keep on doing pirate things. It's quite tall and could end up being a bit of a tempting heatwave target if Kazuya really feels the need to get out of this round and tries to actually get that round win, not lose on even. It's just going to be K-Trolled to match for now. Great long ship.
Longship is not brilliant, but considering the
Yeah.
rounded short, it's nothing to be worried about. You get a profit on it from Sigvald, although yeah, you don't really bleed more. Interesting, the Svalbard is getting answered, but I guess there is quite a few big units with Abominations, Maxi, Mata being on board that it still does the damage even if your Greatsword is killing up. So, do we see Heatwave being played in this situation as a separation? Maybe a bit too early considering you just played Sigvald on board.
Magic is a curse,
Yeah.
a blessing and progress.
So Gwent doesn't get ahead here. It gives Energix the chance to pass and take a 2-card advantage here.
But pass is always a bait, right?
Always, yeah. Pass button, you don't need to ever press that, just keep playing. And yeah. You at least get that heat wave out. Now it's a little bit tougher to get ahead here. I'm not sure if you'd rather have first say or last say in around 3 in this matchup. I think it really depends. Like it's gonna change depending on what's already been spent in the game so far. But both players having Care Trolls sitting on board here going into the round 2, it's gonna be Kazuya's decision whether to bleed or not.
Oh, see, an Aeromancy, it happened.
Yeah.
And all the things are fixed now because Aeromancy is here and you can play both Knut and Sigvald in the different rounds. Okay, so what's missing here? Draka Turtle is missing for Kazuya. Opens with Totem. Both players have card roll, so not sure who has the card roll the advantage at the moment.
Yeah. Notably, Kazuya doesn't have any unit that really works well with the Care Troll in hand. Unless you commit the Sigriffus right onto that Sigvald here. Whereas the Orchid and the Draco Turtle both work a lot better with the Care Troll.
Okay, players kinda constructed a Svalbard totem on the board before the Sigvald was there. You have the foundation of card roll and then yeah, fanatics all around it. But we're trying to repeat one after another. Now though Sigvald is not the play, Energix will be taken here. Plays Draka Turtle. Does he try to get ahead here? I mean he's ahead because of the bleed.
With this placement, Energix could run the risk of, if the Svalbard comes down here from Kazuya, it could just straight up kill both of Energix's Bear Abominations before they get a chance to flip. If there is... I think if the bear spawns first, we'll see that coming through here.
Okay, so the flip happens. The bleeds are collected. Oh, somebody asked. That's why you run the Purify Peller. To purify your enemies is Sigvald in a mirror. Metal was just not precise enough.
So this also means that the canoe is a lot less scary because there isn't a super big buffed up Sigvald to put get a bigger target for this canoe to hit. Yeah, it's only dealing 3 damage right now, and that's really just not that great. Svalbard's going to keep doing Svalbard things. This Draco Turtle almost doesn't have any more armor remaining. And what are we gonna use the Care Troll here for Kazuya? Probably just saving it for the very last turn, to where you just duel the opposing Draco Turtle, get a bunch of bleeding on the Sigvald, and then kill off a friendly unit. and just get as much lead as possible that way. So with that in mind here, for Energix, you have access to the Heatwave from an Aeromancy. And with Sidrifa's Riot already gone from Kazuya, it's basically just an answer at this point. Like, you don't need to worry about any interactions with the graveyard. We're opting to go for the Canute instead of that potentially Neuromancy. And I like this. So you're making the Draco total smaller, and it lessens that potential play of Kazuya using that KH ult to have the Sigvald bashing into that Draco total to get a lot of bleeding.
Yeah. Okay, another board explosion, and by the looks of it, another one and another one. Sometimes not really beneficial. But here, all in from Kazuya, getting 25 points ahead. Well, there is the immune unit, immune to damage unit that you can flash with and also hit with Knut. But considering you have your leader charges, this is exactly enough, and you get a card advantage. And we see the forfeit. There was Draka Turtle, but no really meaningful ways. Okay, you needed to draw the Draka Turtle Mardrome to have a chance, but Kazuya decides that it's time to forfeit. We need to go fast, and it's 1-1 after this mirror. So Energix gets through and claims that Oneromancy is superior.
So, yeah. Unfortunately, your Neuromancy rant there seems to not exactly have come true.
Yep. You just see, you miss an Aeromancy, which means you also miss some of your important cards, and you preserve them for round 3 when your opponent runs out of the good cards to play, because they had the access to all of them early and couldn't stop themselves. Unless I'm not being completely serious before somebody posts. A streamer hated on an Aeromancy or non-Aeromancy build of the self-wound. Or maybe I'm completely serious, you'll never know. It also doesn't matter.
Yeah. The round 1 commitment of Swallow I think was quite good from Energix in the the self-win matchup, because you're both running Svarblood. Yeah, you get a bit of value from spawning the bears, but in terms of just the damage occurring to the whole board, it doesn't matter if it's your Svarblood damaging the whole board or their Svarblood. The damage is going to happen either way, and it's, yeah, just everything getting hit a lot. So you'd potentially rather have shorter term plays that you can get established all at once, like we saw that all geared clash right at the very end, get a lot of points quite quickly with such a small board after all the Svarblood shenanigans. And also, yeah, rely more on those cards which can't take damage if Swarbloods are going to reign supreme, then stuff like the Sigvald, the all geared, and the Draco Turtle, the stocks of them just go way up. And I think, is there an all geared in that portal variant? Or was
we
it
can check
Sometimes
immediately.
that's hard.
No, there is no all geared
Yeah.
in Kazuya's version, because
Yeah, so
a portal is combined
Yes,
with
the
what?
Neuromancy
With Matahuri
gets
here,
done.
so that's 20 provisions.
graded, and yeah, that goes too. So yeah, and yeah, no, all geared just gives you you have one less unit which just can't take damage, that sort of situation, and it can kind of bite you in the back. But looking forward now, we are tied up in the series 1-1. It's going to be back to the blue queen here for Energix. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Syndicate coming out again, the jackpot being played, and then keeping the Arrakis Swarm list for the red queen in potentially a game 4. As for Kazuya, you could take the Self Rune again, but this time on the red coin. And I don't think you mind playing too much against the jackpot, because it is devotion. You can get quite a bit of shenanigans done quite easily with your K-Troll location. But you do need to worry playing something like the Canoe into that Philippa, and the Moros is a good answer for a super tall seafood.
So since the last game started, when I started talking about it, yeah, so Forbidden Provisions tournament is happening on 16th of November. It's a one-day event. Anyone can participate, so everyone is welcome. !Lilith. Yeah, link is in chat. There is a restriction on provisions. You cannot go above 10, so you are limited to not running scenarios, not using Golden Necker Renfrey. So one way to describe it, what might happen is just Golden Neckerless Golden Necker decks. But well, when you can play only one card instead of 3 in one turn, yeah, it sorta limits, or maybe the other cards go up in the priority instead of playing the exact same Golden Necker lists.
Any last words?
But okay, and Energix surprises us, I don't know, no Syndicate
Yeah,
here.
my prediction just completely wrong for both players here. Guess I have to eat my words. Just like these chimeras are going to try to eat these drones.
So, Energix's deck definitely swarms. Kazuya can contribute to it with a couple of spies, and also spies from the Usurper operatives might be kept on the other side of the board if Energix is not precise with his board filling. And since you don't really have control over where the extra drone from Organic's gonna spawn, that might lead to some breaking. There is the Wispus Tribute, there is Riptide who have roll restrictions, and Yennefer herself, of course. And the second point I want to make is this Yennefer being a card that buffs everything on the board. Well, when you coup her and play her on your own side, you can't revert the damage or buffs the effect immediately, playing her onto the opposite row. So, need to be very careful with the cards in this match, the Energix that is. On the other side, you don't really go too tall, so that's denying some poison value.
This heavy cavalry is about to get to that 5 armor threshold, which makes something like this chimera a lot less good if it ends up chunking a whole lot of damage. With that in mind, I think Energix wants to get out before that heavy cavalry becomes a problem, and it won't really be a worry here as Kazuya passes at 7, which we've seen this kind of play from aristocrats a lot.
And the dock is also cleaning itself out of the deck. So the good cards should be coming. There is the Golden Necker somewhere that you cannot really tutor. Location, I think that's the only location in the deck, so goes back immediately.
Yeah, there is 5 golds in deck right now for Energix, so the Naglfar has a decent shot at finding the Golden Necker. Now with only 4 golds in deck, it's 50-50 if that Golden Necker would be found. There's really no damage apart from this. Actually, yeah, there's no access to the mage infiltrator in hand here, so there's no real way to punch through the shield of the Sirinova, since it can't gain any statuses.
A problem best
So
solved.
for now, a slow start from Aristocrats, not really committing to a round yet, but we do see a leader charge Energix playing Organic, starting to swarm the board. You want that opening for Yennefer. We also see that Ku is somewhere in the deck with Roderick, so no access to the instant reverse Yennefer.
Typically, like at this point in the round, you'd expect a Dane to be played before the Swiss Aristocrats, because Swiss Aristocrats have a deploy that gets some value based on spying already on the board. The Danes don't have that sort of equivalent play, so it's my sort of tell Energix that I'm lacking a Dame. I don't have that sort of engine value here.
Okay, so there is an agent.
You weren't expecting this, were
I
you?
guess Aristocrat or agent was kept on top with Masquerade traveling to the bottom. Beautiful points
Very
from
nice,
Chimera, you'll
Chimera.
have to see that. There is more where this came from.
Yeah, solid 14-point Chimera. And this pikeman can be a bit annoying. If it bleeds the 1-power drones, then it forces some board boost to go through that turn, lest the swarm kind of be killed off.
Energix.
Secondly, the charge from Energix to maximize the value on the second Chimera. And look at this point gap, it's getting quite large already. And yes, no Dane to pair up with a pikeman makes it a lot less threatening. Because, yeah, the bleeding doesn't work with this dish of Aristocrats. It just doesn't get the value.
We also seen Chimera consume one of the drones with the spine, so Seditious Aristocrat decided to rush to the board to gain the points from whatever is left there with the spine, but 8 points. We do see the Nagelfar. It's not the best, but it's not the worst, as at least you are not running any risk of 50-50. You are answering one of the engines that would be getting even more points with something like this Usurper. Also, we do see Usurper coming in rather earlier than later, because otherwise you won't just spawn the operatives because row is full. So you'd need to wait for the bleeds go through and for Energix to actually pass to open up space. So yeah, Kazur decides to play the general form of Usurper already here. It also produces 3 units for him, so playing into defense from Yennefer in some form, but as we talked about the coup, Energix might be not really interested in just flipping the card back and forth.
Gentlemen, to work.
So, a bit interesting to see that Riptide not being committed there. Might be trying to save that for round 3. I'm not quite sure how a short run looked like for Energix. The Sien still hasn't been played. You've got to worry about that coup being an eventual draw for Kazuya here.
Yeah,
If
so
it's not in hand already, then you expect it to be found by round 3, especially after all the shenanigans of the Ardfiend deck shuffling going through.
So in theory it should be your finisher to play around the coup, but I don't know, like it's not Masquerade Ball, if that would be found from the Roderick, is also providing some extra unit to the board. Emir playing 2 in one go, so the unit balance would be interesting to see. Like, it's not that Energix has too many ways of swarming now.
And ooh, gets the 2 Dames, but gonna need to rely on an Emir top deck to gain access to this bowl. Not a great servant pull from this Yogi. Yeah, So yeah, you go for the Joachim first here to try to thin out a little bit, like thin out an extra card, make the Emir a bit more likely to get into those golds that you so desperately need here. So that is the dominance taken though. So these riders won't be able to summon the second copy.
Is it the deny of Joachim that NFG is considering here? Yes. So that coup, if you pick up that from Emir, will be less exciting, but yeah, we do see the Emir, we do see the Roderick. There are still aristocrats in hand.
Punishment for traitors.
A superb specimen, truly.
Yeah, Roderick Pool is probably the best case scenario for the Emir, which I think that was set up by the Odd Fiend here.
Yeah.
Gives you the ability to either go for the bolt, which you can fully proc with this Dame and Hunter, or go for that coup if there is the possibility of targeting that yen.
Out of the way, rabble!
But your best poison target is a 9, which
A
is
taste of
not much.
Nordland, is it?
Huh? Emir though, just doing all the yoinks would be annoying for this Yennefer, so you're probably playing natural selection just for the swarm purposes here.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, okay. With the imposter leader out here, you don't need to worry about the Riptide being copied anymore. So you can just play it back row.
Don't ask
10
a lady
points.
her age. It's unbecoming.
The back row is getting a bit too swarmed with the units though, since you have Doldolok there, it won't be that nice and plain. The Riptide front row is not really a good option either. It's okay, but not brilliant. It doesn't produce a unit, doesn't remove a unit from other side of the board. Your drones are betraying you left and right.
I wonder what those snares would have captured this time.
And yeah, this is the problem of Yennefer quite often in the current Gwent. Like, bam, offensive one. And doesn't really achieve much.
Hurts. That hurt my soul, so unfortunate. The threat of the coup just warps this whole matchup and puts the Yen in a very suboptimal position, and we see Kazuya moving up to match point in the series now, match point in the finals. Just needs to take a win with the self wound.
Yes. So yeah, that Yennefer, but that's the problem of Yennefer in general. We have so many cards that play units upon units, be that scenarios, Emir, like Spice potentially with Usurper, also creating multitude, like extra targets for Emir to steal. So yep, that Yennefer was ready to go starting from round 1, but couldn't exactly find the timing to do it because of the coup threat. Yeah, so the card is spinning. This is potentially the last game, so before we are potentially done, I'll also mention that the next iteration of Winner Takes All will be held in December. You can keep up with the news in Discord. !metal gives you access to that. And into game number 4 we go. Energix needs to win twice against the self wound. And
so last matchup we were talking about how it's difficult playing Yen into coup. in this matchup, we should probably talk about how difficult it is playing Swarm into the Svalbard. And Svalbard can come back with the Sigrifa's Right as well. And you don't have Heatwave or Graveyard Punish to deal with that Sigrifa's Right threat.
Okay, so when we were talking about the bans, how did that happen? That we actually are witnessing Swarm versus the Earthen Ritual. Let me go back to the ban screen. I guess the Siege would not be an easier match when they have a bunch of machines killing your small drones.
Music marries cultures, connects folk to one another.
Probably would have had the best time against the Syndicate. So yeah, maybe needed to just queue the monsters straight away in this series to try to get into that matchup.
But okay, good luck to Energix. Maybe there are lines that we can find, but we do see the Soul Blood is loaded and ready to go into the explosive mode.
Yeah, and also Kazuya's running these Berserkers as well, which are just extra ways to get bears on board if the Svalbard is able to stick. Now, with the Power Nurse to Svalbard, once he's done a bit of damage, you'd expect something like even a natural selection should be enough to take him out. There is also this Seikwan, which can do the trick as well.
Continent folk will never understand.
So, like, shouldn't stick for long, but even just on deploy, the value that it gets in one turn is insane. And all you need to do is just wipe out the drones, and then all the Swarm payoff just won't get any value.
And well, there is the situation when the portal is stuck in the deck. Maybe you can force this Wall Blood early, it's just that, yeah, it comes back, we'll see. It's an uphill battle for the Swarm always against this beast of a bear.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Energix getting a good point gap already, threatening to win on even. There's the portal and the KO Troll, and okay, Heatwave doesn't matter that much in this matchup, but some nice cards towards the top. But that is Draco Turtle close to the bottom of the deck, which, yeah, there's not as many tall things to duel with in this matchup, but you would still like to draw the Draco Turtle, and with no Neomancy, it's not possible to tutor it out here.
But yeah, from Energix's point of view, you can build up the lead. Like, oh yes, I'm 15 points ahead. It doesn't matter with the Swell Blood, so you kind of need to continue playing, and at some point you'll start to exhaust your resources for the shorter round Swarm as well, and then the second Swell Blood is still something to think about. There's like no squirrel, no heatwave angles of getting rid of it. Okay, I lagged for a second and I thought that Gwent is trying to crash, but apparently we're fine. Then give me a skier. The Swarm pays off with Chimeras. It's double the points now. No way anything in Skellige can catch up. Look at this. Why is Kazuya even risking playing into that, being so many points down? I wonder what he has in mind.
Okay. Early verification here, but yeah, that's only the vial getting transformed, so doesn't matter too much.
I think we also seen Energix actually consuming the taller drones just because the small one is supposed to be killed off by the explosions, so no need to spread the point.
Yeah, and that's why I'm a bit surprised that Kazuya has actually been killing off these drones, because that does sort of minimize the Sparblood value as well, rather than just damaging something a bit taller with all this Canute clicks. But going to get ahead here is Kazuya.
Why is Skellige in front now when it was just double the points behind? I don't understand. And now, yes, you reset the Knut, the Sigvald, but Knut can still find targets to hit. And the slow decay of Sigvald is not that important. But okay, resources are being spent here. Like, this is the second Svalbard that we were talking about left in the hand of Kazuya.
Yeah, so Sirinova gets ahead here, and then Kazuya either loses uneven with this Sirinova already on board, or has to use up this Sigdrifer's right, and then we're not seeing any more Svalbard in this game.
Okay, so decision has been made. The plan is to try and win round 1.
Yeah, at least get a bit of damage through with this Canute, get this Sirinova chunked down a bit, minimize that resilience value, and then bring the Canute back now and finish the Sirinova off. Well, okay, put it to 1 power.
Yeah, cannot even finish it off unless... Bam! There we go. I mean, he draws into Portal and Fire Troll, so those are pretty good cards to have. But, like, Swarm is up for grabs for Energix now. There are limited ways how... Like, there is a couple of Drum and Berserker pings, but other than that, not much in terms of control of small units available.
This it's probably a bit too short of a round to even bleed for Kazuya, but I think you might need to do it anyways. And this Carrier Troll, I don't think it's even going to be getting that much value here anyways. Like, we're not going to get Draco Turtle to get the additional armor value.
Carrier Troll is massive, just look how you roll the Marauder from it. There we go.
God damn it. Unlucky for Energix.
I was prepared.
In the back of my mind, I just knew it was going to happen as well. It always does. Yeah, even if the Drake Turtle did come out here, there would be that curse from Energix to respond with. So it's going to be a lot of leader charges. Are we going...
Okay, so it was preparation for both Yen and Arachas, I suppose.
Yeah. Nice.
Heatwave not really feeling that hot. The pool should be the pinging one. So yeah, I wouldn't... This was what, 5 points, the alternative was 7, so wouldn't be enough. Ah! Okay. How is... How is Kazuya winning now? Without the Draco Turtle as well, because that was at the like second to last card, so... You can clash. There is limited swarm, but there is some swarm. The COC is not looking too hot, but Mahaka Mail with the COC last say is an option, you see.
Yeah, and I think with this, it's pretty obvious that, say, no Draco Turtle has been found. Otherwise, you definitely would have played that first here.
You best yield
And it's
now.
going to be very nice. Yen. the spontaneous evolution to get a few more drones here, get that bone talisman set up. And then build a log. Lovely kind mirror. This is what this monsters list wants to do. Things to nothing. Great short round, getting exactly what you like from the golden nugget here. And yeah, we said at the outset this was going to be a tough matchup, but to get around that, Energix just played a really strong round one, committed hard, and forced a lot out of Kazuya.
Not the self-TOC, no! Why would you roll 50-50 when you don't need it? Using up your luck, unluck, I guess. So Arahus wins against Self-Wound and loses to Aristocrats. Yeah, this is happening today, right here, right now. So maybe not the most obvious thing. I'm also not sure, like Aristocrats, I haven't played that many games, but with the Swarm they have, the Bleeds they have, the Coup threat, I guess things can happen. And this is the finalist match of the finalist matches that is upcoming here. Jackpot versus Self-Wound. So the card is spinning, we are ready. Energix will be on the blue coin, right? Started with the jackpot, yeah, so
Yes.
should be going. Kazuya was just on the blue coin, yep. So the fate of $100 is decided in this jackpot. Who will hit the jackpot, or who will be just hitting themselves for not winning it? We'll see who will be Ursine and who will be the jackpot after this game number 5. Of course, those of you who plan to watch final in about an hour, we had some player unavailability issues, so we skipped straight to the final. Unlucky. Now the last preparations, I'm gonna go grab some water, etc, etc, and we'll start. The card is already spinning.
And I might take the opportunity to redeem myself. I'll make one final prediction today that these queues are going to be the jackpot on blue coin, Self-Wound on red coin. I have a good feeling about these ones at last.
Do you think the portal will be in Kazuya's hand?
Ooh, okay, that's actually a better prediction to make here. On the red coin here, so I will predict no, because it is slightly more likely to be missed in the initial hand. However, probably slightly more likely if we factor in the potential for Matter to tutor the portal if, say, the Spellbot and Chaos Troll are already in hand.
Okay, so the answer is maybe. This is as good of an answer as you can honestly give in that situation. Of like, the other option would have been, of course, 50-50. It either will be or will not.
When I was on like a family trip with my uncle, I think like sometime last year, they kept joking around that things which were not 50-50 were 50-50. It's like, I roll the dice, what's the probability I get a 6? Well, it either happens or it doesn't, so it's gotta be 50-50, right?
Yes, that's exactly how Gwent math works most of the time as well.
Yeah, and as someone who actually studies probability and is looking to like study it further next year, like every time I hear that, a little part of me dies.
Theoretically, it either dies or it doesn't.
Yeah, in theory.
Platform crash? No. I mean, players are allowed to take a break.
Yeah, especially for the final game in the series. Like, if it were me, I'd definitely be like wanting to just get a drink and just like take some time to reset, check my mental. Yeah, we're heading into the game 5 here.
Let's go, the final game of
Let's
the
go.
final match
Control the
of
docks,
the winner
control the city.
takes all 11. Nice predictions, Lemon predicted the
Allow
decks
me to
and
play
the
you an
coins.
elven folk tune.
And Portal, not in hand. Mata, not in hand. Kaertrode, not in hand. Svalbard, not in hand. Okay. Double Gwentfinity though. So hot right now.
Life's short. Enjoy it.
It still annoys me to no avail that Gwentfinity totem interaction doesn't do anything. Like, I understand why the Gwentfinity was reworked, it was a problematic card, but the fact that you can do nothing, oh, that was a very fast thing for me to register from the...
Yeah, if that fast for a maxi probably means a shuffle straight away, I would assume.
Accept our sacrifice!
Knees are drowning in shite, but
So Energix once again being aware that Madame Marquis Serenity is not the card that you have to play. So keeps her, starts with Thinning and Engine.
This could be... Look, this is a very wide board for Energix, and ordinarily, you'll always have this little thought in the back of your mind going, what if my opponent just plays Svalbard to contest the round 1? We see the Svalbard is missing, and it's actually just going to be a pass from Kazuya here after 3 cards. So yeah, quite heads up from Energix, definitely did not need to commit the Madame Marquis Serenity, and now has a very nice opportunity to bleed with the all the Passiflora workers, and
the
take them
drows.
out on an expedition to Skellige.
The drows, look. Kaertrode is here. Mata came to party. And the
portals.
final Svalbard. Okay, yeah. So
Now Portal would be found from the Matter, so wouldn't be surprised to see that. But
This way.
Matter sort of just lengthens the round, and when the opponent just established these 3 engines in the Madden play, the Matter doesn't feel very good. So
okay.
instead it's going to be Trolled to lead here, set up this duel to be able to answer maybe some of these bronzes the following turn.
Fire and iron!
So kinda need to not get Philippot, as you mentioned in the previous games where we were talking about those potential matchups coming up later. Everything is up for grabs, like Knut, Svalbard, Sigvald, depending on the board state situation. As of now, like... Ah, okay, we do get a pass. Energix decides to lock us into a 10-card round.
Maybe just knowing this would require a bigger commitment unless Kazuya were to go 2 cards down, and oh gosh. I had a mini heart attack with the Flying Redanian coming back.
Yeah, I mean, calculated and all, but when there are bleeds and things jumping out, sometimes nasty things happen, but all was under control. Okay, so the last missing component, Draco Turtle, is here. You cannot really break the portal if you draw it, because Mata just picks up something else, and if you don't need something else, although Sigdriff was right, is active, since Svalbard traveled into the graveyard, there is something for you to grab. All is good for that portal self-wound. I guess verification is missing.
And Energix has to choose between either the Caesar or the Captain Yago on this decree. But it might not end up feeling that bad if Kazuya uses, say, the Clash to deal with the Siggy Reuven as soon as he comes down.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I would not be surprised to see that coming through. And Mata pulling the second copy off the beggar for Energix. when you're getting a 4P like that, that doesn't feel bad at all. Like, it's the second one is gonna be playing for Profit 5. Very good with the Jackpot Leader.
Okay.
And early clash coming up from Draco Turtle, which you can be a bit loose with all these clashes because you do have the double Doom in hand and no threat of the artifact removal. But since this is an off turn for the Arcade Troll, it does give a chance for this Sal to stick. But okay, never mind. The Canute with the Totem is going to be enough to kill it off here.
This
And
does
says-
de-armor the Draco Turtle, sadly, for Kazuya. And okay, speaking of the Philippa, there we are. Oh, a beautiful synergy between Knut and Flying Redanian. You just kill it
Oh
off
yeah.
in 3 turns, and then you definitely get to 9 coins at some point.
So yeah, there's sort of two reasonings. I think last time I was casting, I did a whole analogy of like cheese sandwiches, but a Self-Ruin deck has two main parts in it. You have the cards that want to be hit and the cards that do the hitting. So if you're playing against Self-Ruin, you want to really focus on shutting down one of those two parts. And with one of the K-Troll charges already being used up, there's only 2 more domes that can be played. If you steal this Canute, you deny the Sigdrifa's right onto the Canute, you can just make it so that Kazuya doesn't have the opportunity to damage their own units. So things like this Sigvald, things like this Draco Turtle don't have the actual follow-up for them to get a lot of value.
That's the only virtue.
And you still have the poisons and the Morils to deal with the threats if they get out of hand with Mardroms, etc. So, yeah. I absolutely love the fact that you need to spend 3 turns hitting the Flying Redanian to just get it back. This is what Gwent is really all about, those yeah, like between the faction synergies, and that's why bring Arena back. I don't know. We were just reminiscing about Arena in chat yesterday during the rerun. Give me Arena back instead of the draft mode, please.
Maybe we just need to make Canute a dual faction card, just like Sucrus, and then you can run a Sucrus Canute Flying Redanian package in Syndicate. That would be fun.
Okay, so one of your big cards is poisoned. Second one is under the threat of Morils. Fun times.
Yeah. And okay, so we have Spores and Heatwave here as 12 punishes for Kazuya. Might even just be Heatwave coming out as soon as the Siggy comes down. Or maybe a Spores into some, like a offensive Sigvald or Draco Turtle with the Trolled. As well would work.
I value adventures only independence can provide.
I'm not even sure what this Heatwave ends up heatwaving, because I imagine it's just gonna be a Yargo last say, or probably deals with a King of Beggars coming out.
Premium grade won't find
We could be struggling a bit for spenders here for Energix, since there's only the candle right now.
I mentioned the mist purification. That might have been quite helpful here.
True.
Although looking all the cards make sense, but maybe one Mardrum could have been a miss, and instead could have been. Okay, so we do get the Draco Turtle now. Something tall is allowed to stay, but this means that yeah, the Soul Blood has been played, and that's the final action of him in earlier rounds.
So yes, I think it's correct here. You don't want to try to protect the Siggy here by boosting with the candle. You'll just feed a bigger Draco Turtle Jewel, really, or play into this Heatwave, depending on what Kazuya decides to use for the answer. I think it makes sense to use the Draco Turtle here. And then do we just go for a kind of sad spores? No, it's going to be Heatwave onto the Candle, which you don't need the verification. You can get rid of the Spender that way.
Well,
And it does mean that, however, if you spend on the Moral's Tribute, then there's no way for this King of Beggars to die. So should be fine for spending here for Kazuya.
yeah, I don't know.
As for Energix.
I mean, it can potentially still die to like an offensive Mardrome,
True.
but do you
And
lose
that's
to
what we
offensive
speak in
Mardrome?
around.
Not, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
with the
Prob-
leader onto the
yes.
Draka Turtle, yeah, there will be some point in flux still
Yeah.
from opposing sides. Might as well play around stuff.
So it's not going to be a huge Yago here. It's only going to be 12 coins being spent in this final turn before the Yago hits the board. But it ought to be big enough, especially after this only 5-point spores being used defensively onto this matter.
Yeah, so all this talk about Swarm being problematic to be played against the Self-Wound, and we end up with Energix taking the series, taking the match, and yeah, winning. The winner takes all 11. It's 11 because we had a lot of best of sevens in meanwhile, but this was an 8-player tournament. Sadly, didn't get to play in the semifinal, but I guess Energix is not too fussed about missing one of the matches today. So yeah, if you're playing in any tournaments, please use your alarm clocks and just follow more or less the plans of organizers, I suppose. GG's, congratulations, Energix is the winner. So hope you guys enjoyed the matches. I guess I can also fix the score here. So we also got the five game series, which is always nice for the final.
Yeah. Always nice coming down to that night will bite out, and yeah, very well played from both players. And I think, yeah, some tough matchups there for both the Araka Swarm and the Jackpot. So able to get them both through for Energix, quite impressive to see.
Yeah. So we mentioned that there will be another winner takes all in 2024, somewhere 8-9 December. Check where the weekend is around that. So in December we'll host another one. It might have a different format, there might be different players. There will be a tournament next weekend as well, but it was as usual pleasure casting with Lemon. So go and check Lemon's channel as well. I'm surely someday there will be a stream on that when he solves all the math problems in the world.
Let me survive my exams first, and then I can, have a bit more time on my hands.
And yeah, thank you Metal for organizing and running it. Thanks to all the players participating. Even if you didn't participate in all the matches you were supposed to. Unlucky. But yeah, this is also ending for YouTube. So I'll stop the YouTube stream right about now. Thanks for watching. Спасибо, что смотрели на YouTube. Трансляция там заканчивается. ББ, приходите на Twitch. So yeah, you can follow and go to the Twitch if you still want some Gwent. There are multiple platforms for it, but for the YouTube it's bye-bye.